If you've been on Twitter anytime in the last 12 hours, you've probably seen which part of last night's terrible, terrible debate got the most attention, and that would inarguably be this segment, if you please.
You have repeatedly. You've been talking back and forth.
You made a statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love to end it.
Sir.
I would love to end it.
If you want to switch seats,
we could very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd send in the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay,
but they don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups?
Here we go.
And to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha, and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing to do
specifically
that,
do it?
Well,
go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what do you?
That's a swing and a miss. Can you condemn white supremacy and far right militias? Yeah, I can, but it's all coming from the left. Okay, swing and a miss. Let's see if he can. Let's see if he can pull one out again.
Look,
what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Say it. Say it, motherfucker. Say it.
Want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
Stand back and stand by. Not, I disavow. Not, you're bad. Stand back and stand by. That's what you tell a militia group you know you're in control of. Stand back, stand by. That's not condemning. That's not even close to condemning. Can you imagine if Donald Trump was like, Joe, why don't you condemn Antifa? And Joe was like, listen, Antifa, stand by. Stand by. Like, we all know how that would play. This isn't disavowing them. This is telling them to wait on a signal. This is unambiguous. But as we're about to see, there are already conservative disinfo agents rapidly inhaling copium in an effort to he didn't mean it. This is being misinterpreted. It's a joke. Yeah. They're already on it, you know? But anyway, let's...
I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about...
this was added by the YouTube person.
Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director.
Again, not only did he not condemn them, he then immediately said, but somebody has to do something about Antifa, you know? Can you imagine if a president was asked about the KKK and he said, listen, KKK, stand by, but something's got to do something about all these raping blacks, you know? Like, this isn't even a dog whistle. This is a fucking bullhorn. Like, this is a you know the big horn they have on boats? I don't know if they actually have these or if it's just like a cartoon thing. Those things, you know? Yeah, this is a this is a foghorn. Yeah, foghorn. Yeah. This is a fucking foghorn, okay? The fucking clouds above the building in which this debate was held were fucking parted by the overwhelming seismic force of this foghorn rolling off into the distance.
This is a left-wing
white supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what.
By the way, I have to say, I don't expect much from Biden. Biden's saying that Antifa is an idea, not an organization. I actually really didn't expect. I don't. Now, of course, he's doing this to distance himself from Antifa. Like, there's no organization for me to be in charge of or anything. But this is, you know, like, I'll admit, I was genuinely surprised by that. Yeah, that's a concession to the left. It would have been very easy for Joe to go, yeah, Antifa's a bunch of crooks, but I've always disavowed them or something like that. You know, he could have done that pretty easily, but he didn't. And, you know, okay. Yeah.
His FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
Bat hits you over the head. That's not an idea.
And the rest of it is bickering, because Trump really is like a child. Trump is actually such a obnoxious interlocutor that if I brought him on to debate, like, this would be guaranteed to turn into a screaming match because this motherfucker does not shut up. Holy shit. Just as somebody who has to debate for his job, like, Donald is a fucking nightmare opponent because he's so stupid and so obnoxious and so abrasive. He doesn't actually respond to anything you're saying. He's just wait to interrupt for his next dig. I mean, that's a strategy, you know. The difference between me and Joe, though, is that I would actually insult Trump, whereas Joe just sort of held his hands together and said, you big lug. You big meanie, you know, which not my preferred response, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I called him a clown, then apologized. I don't know. Some people said that was sarcastic. I don't care. Whatever the case may be, let's focus on the actual issue here, which is Donald Trump saying "stand by" to the Proud Boys. Now, I think it was a bad move on the part of Joe Biden to specifically name the Proud Boys because they love the attention. I think sticking to the nebulous far-right militia or like white nationalist or white supremacist groups would have been a lot smarter. Giving named attention to these groups is exactly what they want. And now the Proud Boys have been mentioned in a presidential debate, you know, which is, I mean, they love that shit. But anyway, look at some of the responses that we've been getting. Look at this. This is from Brian Kilmeade of Fox News.
And if you're going to say that President Trump was rude.
Wait, was it Wallace who said Proud Boys? If that's the case, then it was a plant. Okay. I thought I heard it from Joe, but whatever the case is, it's not good.
There was only
some people are saying Biden, some people are saying Wallace. I don't care. Only
one person who called the other one a clown, a racist, the worst president ever, and told to shut up. And that was Joe Biden on Donald Trump. But Donald Trump blew the biggest layup in the history of debates by saying, not condemning white supremacists. I don't know if he didn't hear it, but he's got to clarify that right away. That's like, are you against evil? Why the president didn't just knock it out of the park, I'm not sure.
Boy, I wonder, why wouldn't Trump have taken the easy layup, you know? I'm wondering right now. I got a couple of potential explanations, you know. I'm thinking about it. I'm really giving it some thought. Why he didn't hear it? What? He responded to it directly. Holy shit! The fucking copium. These people have like IV drips of the liquefied stuff being fed into their veins from a fucking tank kept underneath a desk. Holy shit! Listen. The reason why Trump didn't disavow the greatest irony is, for all Trump talks about Biden being a slave to the far left, Trump is utterly controlled by the far right. Trump doesn't do anything to step against the farthest right people in this country. Joe Biden took out Bernie in the primary. He'll shit talk far left people, and he has for political capital. Donald Trump does nothing, literally nothing, to disavow the farthest right political elements of the Republican Party and further. He doesn't do it at all. Now, if he's asked at a press briefing, he'll say, "Oh yeah, racism's bad." But when it comes to actually disavowing actors, agencies, individuals, organizations, events, people who support Trump, he has never and will never do that. There are two reasons for this. One reason is because Trump is a pathological narcissist and is incapable of criticizing people who he knows like him because he needs the attention. That's a big one. Trump's metric for whether or not he likes a person is if they like him. There are two people in this world. People who like Trump, in which case they're part of an elite inner circle where he'll defend them no matter what they do. And people who don't like Trump, in which case he'll boot them out of his administration, shit talk them, and denigrate them in every way imaginable. Those are the only two people. He has never played a middle in that ground. It's the only two things a person can be. But the other big one is that Republicans really don't give a fuck that there are Nazis in their party. They really don't give a shit, you know. Democrats, they treat socialists in their party the way you treat like a fucking spider on your body after you walk through a cobweb. Like, I fucking saw a socialist at that meetup. You know, they'll fight to get that shit off them. Republicans, they'll walk right next to Nazis, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a single shit, you know. They'll go to Nazi rallies, they'll listen to people shout, you know, Jews will not replace us, and they'll defend it, you know, they'll lie about it, they'll do anything. PragerU has put out like multiple videos just objectively lying about the events at Charlottesville. PragerU is named after a Jewish man. These people don't give a fuck. They don't give a single shit. Which means that there's no pressure from the Republican Party for Trump to disavow any of these people. Now, I ask you, in practical terms, what is the difference between a far-right white nationalist fascist president and a president who espouses far-right white nationalist fascist talking points and won't disavow any of the people who express those talking points? The answer is, of course, literally nothing. There is nothing. The contents of Trump's skull are uninteresting to me. I can't imagine there's much going on there. But as a president, as a political actor, it really does come right on down to the actual impact he has on the world. And, folks, I think Donald Trump might be a little bit racist. You know, I know it's a hot take, but I think he might be maybe a smidge racist. Didn't Donald Trump's father get caught at like a KKK rally or something back in the 1928 or something like that? Like, I feel like this runs in the family a little bit. Hey, quick question. If you're a wealthy man who went to a KKK rally in the late 20s, what do you think your political affiliation might have been at the turn of the 1930s? Back when neo-Nazism, or not neo, sorry, I keep saying that unnecessarily. Back when original OG Nazism was rising across the world, and there were sympathetic Nazis all across the breadth of the United States that were only supplanted after we went to war with the country, you know? And if Donald Trump's father did have sympathies with those ideas, what do you think he might have taught his son? I don't know. I don't think Trump gives a fuck about anything other than himself. But I think he knows the easiest way forward is appealing to people who care about white nationalism as a sort of vessel for their identity. Whatever the case may be, this stand by thing has already been received widely by the Proud Boys. Look, this is actually tweeted by Joe Biden. Bless his heart. Trump basically said go fuck him up. This makes me so happy. Standing by, sir. President Trump told the Proud Boys to stand by because someone needs to deal with Antifa. Well, sir, we're ready. Proud Boys shout out. The presidential debate. This is Joe Biggs. He was at the Proud Boy rally that we took a look at just a couple days ago on stream in Portland. First of all, simp. Second of all, unfortunately, it's worse than this. They're already printing t-shirts. The t-shirts have been taken down from Teespring since this screenshot was taken. But like immediately, they're printing out badges, t-shirts, everything. Stand back and stand by, you know? Like they're waiting on a signal. Look at these. Let's go to 4chan. When asked about militia, Trump told his boys to stand down and stand by, get ready for civil war. God Emperor Trump refused to give in to the kike's demands. Stand down and stand by. I'm ready to kill as many as possible before my inevitable death. Please God, I want bombs and shit going off. Stand by, Trump with the glowy eyes. He's putting lefties on notice. We will fuck their shit up given a green light. Stand by, based. Proud Boys stand by. Slaughtering leftists in droves will not be a punishable crime 2 months from now. Kill squad standing by. Yep, I'm thinking Trump is the Fuhrer again. Day of the rope confirmed November 3rd. See, there are real-life consequences to the president being a fascist. Now, all of these people may be lunatic virgins who can't move from their computer chairs without breaking a shell of dried cum that they have encompassed their lower half with. So I'm not saying that individually these people are, battle-ready warriors. But you don't need to be some kind of super soldier to take a gun to your local mosque or synagogue. These people are a real threat to this country. White supremacy is a real threat to this country, and Trump knows exactly what he's doing with the comments that he makes. This is one of the reasons why I'm concerned about a Trump re-election, It's not just about Trump. Do you have any idea how aggressive these people are going to get during a second Trump term? Do you have any idea how little they're going to have to lose? Charlottesville is going to seem like a fucking daycare compared to some of the shit we're going to see rise up when the time comes. Should Trump win the upcoming election? But the best take of all, and this is my favorite take on the whole thing, okay, is from totally a libertarian, definitely a serious political commentator, Ben Shapiro. Just a real one over here. Donald Trump has, in fact, condemned white supremacy repeatedly. In the exchange everyone is quoting from last night, he repeatedly said he was willing to do so. The fact that this has been obscured as journalistic malpractice. Journalistic malpractice for reporting on a thing the president said, as a quote. Journalistic malpractice. What a Weasley little fucking pussy, dude. Jesus Christ. Journalistic malpractice. And this is the guy who calls other people snowflakes, by the way. This is the guy who will tell other people that they're hysterical for saying that racism still exists or something. Journalistic malpractice for quoting the president. And then as if this exonerates the president, he lists out the full context, which we just watched, by the way. By the way, guys, did watching the full context of that interaction make Trump look any better when Trump repeatedly said that he was willing to condemn white supremacy, but then he didn't? Doesn't it just make it look like he's more unwilling to when he repeatedly says that he's willing to, but then doesn't? Like, look at this. It's like, are you willing to condemn white supremacy? Yeah, I'm prepared to do it. But the left is worse. Yeah, I mean, I'll do it. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Okay. Well, Proud Boys, stand by. Anyway, something's got to do something about Antifa. Like, this makes him look worse. You know what this would be like? Somebody in chat just said this. This would be like the taxes, you know? This would be like Ben Shapiro going, this is journalistic malpractice when reporters continue to say that Trump refuses to release his tax returns. Trump has been saying for 4 years now that Trump is going to release his tax returns. This is journalistic malpractice. They're clearly obscuring the actual intent of he's been saying for 20 years now that he's going to release his tax returns. He's eventually going to do it. It's journalistic malpractice to suggest that he won't, you know? Yeah, to say that Trump has no new healthcare plan, you know, this is journalistic malpractice. I mean, he's been saying for years now he has a new one. He hasn't said it yet, but he says he has a new one. So when you say he doesn't, that's journalistic malpractice. Just the funny thing is that Ben Shapiro tries to sell himself as some kind of like, you know, libertarian who isn't that sold on Trump. But Ben Shapiro chokes on fucking Trump cock every single time there's an opportunity to do so. He'll come out, he'll run the exact same partisan line. He doesn't do a single fucking thing to distinguish himself, except every once in a while he'll like tweet like, man, Trump is kind of rude sometimes. And that's it. That's his divergence from the party. It's exactly like Tucker Carlson, by the way. You know, Tucker Carlson, the edgy anti-establishment guy who nonetheless constantly shills Trump, covers up. By the way, Tucker Carlson, the guy who constantly says the elites aren't paying their fair share, what do you think his coverage was of the Trump tax leaks, where Trump is blatantly cheating the country with regards to his tax return? What do you think anti-establishment, anti-big business, anti-Wall Street Tucker Carlson is saying about that release exactly? You know, all these Republicans, you know, we're different, these pick-me's, you know, these I'm not like other girl Republicans, fall back to the exact same party line the nanosecond their god emperor is challenged. That's one of the reasons they're more effective politically than the left. We have principles, you know. If we don't like Biden and Biden does something fucking stupid, we'll say Biden has done something fucking stupid. If we were Republicans, the situation was reversed. We'd all rush to his defense. Now, I'm not a big fan of Biden, but when Biden raped that 12-year-old on stage, I really think the media gave him a negative shake with how they handled the camera. You know, the camera angles were incredibly unflattering there, and frankly, it really belies media bias. Like, they'll do anything. They'll say anything, you know? But we won't do that. We have principle. We have character, and, you know, it's in certain respects, that's a weakness, at least politically, because people, largely Fox viewers, are stupid. And there's and there's very little you could do to betray their trust as long as they're given the general impression that you're going to do something about the blacks. But yeah. Anyway, just the idea that Ben Shapiro is some kind of subversive libertarian hold on the Republican Party is fucking hysterical. Look, it's a fact, folks. Trump is completely in line with the far right. There is no meaningful distinction there. He is the president of the far right, and the reason why he refuses to disavow them isn't just because he lacks political tact, though he does. It's also because there's no reason for him to. Because the Republican Party is willing to throw their weight behind the fucking Ku Klux Klan if they thought it meant being able to prevent one black guy from burning down an Arby's somewhere in the middle of the Rust Belt. You know, that's where the party is at presently. The Republican Party is willing to accept literally any shift to the right as long as there is even the vaguest perceived threat being pushed by Antifa, black people, whatever. There doesn't even have to be a threat. You know, Fox News could just cover, some litter thrown next to a gutter, and they would spin it properly, and then you're working with the KKK. But hey, listen, okay? Listen. They have a good reason, all right? They're defending Western civilization. They're protecting the suburbs. Oh, yeah, as a final note, the only good bit that Biden really did that whole fucking debate last night was his little bit on the suburbs. I think I talked about that last night, but when he said, stop dog whistling, the suburbs are integrated, the only person who's threatening the suburbs is you with your COVID response, that was pretty good. It was good. You know, that and the Antifa thing, when he didn't condemn Antifa but said it was an idea, not an organization, that was good. That was good. Credit where credit's due. Yeah, that hit different. Yeah, that hit my back walls. Daddy Joe did hit my back walls with that one, you know. That's why we finally have the malarkey emote, because now we're riding hard all the way to November 3rd, okay? And depending on the results on November 3rd, it'll take a few days after that for this all to be settled, maybe even a few weeks, given the way Trump's handling this. Depending on the outcome after the election, we're either never talking about Joe Biden again, or we're completely redirecting our focus to that motherfucker. we're laser. Ooh, we're zooming in. Okay, this is a conditional alliance. All right.